Hey guys, it's Dino. Today is Saturday, March 16th, 2013, and I am at home in Waltham, and I am wrapping up my spring break right now, so yeah. I haven't made a major update video in a while, so this is going to cover a broad range of topics, pretty much from transition update to like some personal stuff and like what's been going on in my life. So this is probably going to be a pretty long video. So in regards to my transition, I just started on Testopel, which I mentioned in my previous video. It's a subdermal pellet which goes under your skin, and it releases testosterone slowly over the course of like a couple months to maximum 6 months or so. Yeah, so I explained like how I got it, like how the procedure was done in my previous video. So if you guys want to check that out, just check the annotation somewhere around me to find the video. My health insurance, Harvard Pilgrim, did cover it, and as far as I know, most health insurance does cover Testopel. Your best bet if you want to start that is to call them up and ask them if they cover it for gender reassignment stuff. Although, I've been getting a lot of questions about pre-T guys who've been wanting to start Testopel. However, I don't recommend Testopel being the thing you start off with, because once you get it, once you have the procedure done to like get it placed, you can't really take it out. Like, it's kind of hard to stop it until the 6 months are done. So that's why I recommend starting off on shots or androgel, something that's easily controlled. You won't really know how you feel about the effects and changing and your transition until you start experiencing them, pretty much. So that's why pretty much I don't recommend going on Testopel until you're at least a year on testosterone. The reason why I switched to Testopel is because at about 9 or 10 months with my injections, I started to experience like pain. I actually even hit a nerve once. I mentioned that in some of my previous videos. I was initially switched to subcutaneous injections, which is into the fat. It's a lot smaller needle, a lot less painful, while I was on the waiting list for starting Testopel because it was back ordered. So there hasn't really been much information online about trans guys who've gone on Testopel. I had tried to do some research in December, but I couldn't really find much information on it in terms of like videos, and at least for guys my age. Like, I think there's like been a couple things about like older guys who've been on it. So my goal is to be a good resource for guys in like college, like my age-ish, and like that kind of stuff, because there really isn't a lot of information about that. So yeah, I'm going to continue to, you know, hopefully give updates about my experiences with Testopel and everything like that. So I haven't really talked much about like my progress with like top surgery or anything recently, because I've kind of put it to the side in regards to like things I'm kind of like worrying about and like dealing with in my transition in my life, because I'm pretty comfortable with my body at this point. I feel like I do not need to devote my energy into raising money and trying to actively do stuff for that, because, you know, I have a lot of other things to work out right now. I don't know, like, I still eventually would like to get top surgery at some point, so I can actually walk around in public topless without getting arrested. So I was talking to my therapist recently, and my mother's also been bugging me about calling my health insurance to see if they cover it. I called a while ago, like over a year ago, to see if they cover it, and they said they didn't cover it, but might have just worded it wrong. So I'm gonna try again, because also like there's been some changes recently, and my mother is actually an employee of Harvard, and apparently employees of Harvard can get top surgery and like gender reassignment surgery. So maybe as her son I might be able to get that done. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm gonna call Harvard Pilgrim soon and figure out if it's covered. And if it is, that'll be great, and I'll hopefully get top surgery. Ideally, if it's covered, I want to get it done probably over the summer or in the winter time. I don't know. Depends on if I can get keyhole or not. So while we're on the topic about like my chest and everything, I've gotten a lot of chest hair and a lot of like belly hair and just everything. It's kind of just a lot of fuzz and pretty much like a bear, and I'm thinking about doing some manscaping, because I don't want to be like completely like bare. That's funny. I don't want to be completely like hairless or whatever, because that makes me like look like I'm like a 12-year-old, which I'm not cool with. I like having some hair on my belly and chest area, but like not a lot, and it's kind of getting ridiculous. So, over the winter time, I was dealing with like a lot of anger issues and just emotional stuff and just whatever, and it was kind of just coming to a whole big mess. Previously, I kind of mentioned how I haven't been experiencing much anger problems, and I wasn't really worked up as easily, and like a lot of things just didn't really get to me. That made me a lot more passive and a lot like I didn't really speak out and speak up as much as I used to, actually, because I used to speak up like all the time, which a lot of like people who've met me recently really didn't know about, that I used to be like a lot more like aggressive and have a lot like worse anger issues. So since I wasn't really speaking up as much, I pretty much got like walked all over over the past like couple months, which is kind of interesting to hear. Some people have like known me for a while, because like usually, you know, they're so used to me just like being very, very angry and very, very loud, I guess. So yeah, I got like fed up with it, and my anger, my frustration, all like my emotional issues that I've been dealing with lately have really just like built up, and I've been very angry and just like very wordy, I guess, and I've just been really just speaking my opinions about how I feel about everything, and I'm a very honest and like upfront and blunt person, and I've been kind of speaking my mind even more so than I have been like over the past like year or so. And it hasn't really been going too well with a lot of people at school. I kind of lost a good amount of friends since last semester, but I've also gained some new friends, which is great. So my issues with my recent anger and being, you know, very loud, I guess, isn't permanent. It's temporary, and you know, being bipolar, I do have ups and downs like everybody else, and not to mention I'm going through a whole second puberty, but you know, I can't I can't put the blame on that stuff. You know, I'm still working on stuff, and I've come a long way since a year ago, or even a couple months ago. Yeah, I've mentioned that a lot before. But I mean, people who are not comfortable dealing with my ups and downs, you know, don't really need to be in my life. Like I don't need to worry about them as much, and they shouldn't really get to me, because you know, if people don't like, you know, if people aren't cool with that and aren't willing to deal with that, then I just don't really need to deal with them. I also have been getting a bunch of like BS about like me being very out there in terms of like flaunting my gender identity and stuff, both on Facebook and at school and everywhere really. And I think what's kind of been really getting to people is that I'm finally noticing the changes in getting and becoming how I wanted to be for a very long time, which a lot of things that I've been going through, people just take for granted. You know, it's me just being happy and grateful for who I've become. And I just really hope that people would understand that, like, they don't have to worry about dealing with housing situations in college, or passing, or changing their name or their gender marker, or getting top surgery, or like being happy with themselves. I don't know, I really wish folks could kind of like understand that, that, you know, I'm not flaunting my gender identity as much as I used to, because I'm happy with myself, you know? I just kind of want to like be myself and you know, still educate people about like, you know, how to be a good ally, or even just like trans stuff in general. You know, a majority of my you know, energy in regards to like being trans is kind of you know, shifted to helping preteen guys, or guys looking to know more about the transition process. Because like when I was like first starting my transition, you know, I looked up to a lot of my older brothers who were, you know, on T and starting to transition and everything. And I am now at that, you know, age point where a lot of guys do, you know, look to me for advice about that kind of stuff, and I want to be that resource, because, you know, I feel like I am pretty educated on, you know, the transition process, and like maybe a little bit more than that, because, you know, I have a pretty good sex education, and I've grown up in an open family, and you know, I'm from Boston, where there's a whole bunch of like, you know, just like queer-friendly medical services and everything. So, you know, I really just want to be able to kind of like spread that information and help people as much as I can regarding that. You know, maybe folks may view that as being like flaunting my identity, but like in reality, like, you know, let me live my life. So in about 6 weeks is my 19th birthday, April 30th. It's actually like towards the very beginning of like finals, or like in the middle of finals month in our school. So that's kind of exciting. You know, it's not like a whole like big birthday or whatever, but a lot of local clubs and bars in or like around my school are 19 plus. Also, I've been thinking about transferring to MICA, the Maryland Institute College of Art in Baltimore, hopefully in 2014, for a lot of reasons. You know, mostly because I really want to kind of get out of New England and just really open up new opportunities to kind of explore like a whole different like region, I guess. I've been like born and raised in New England pretty much, and you know, in Beverly, where I'm currently in school right now, you know, I'm kind of familiar with Beverly already, because my aunt and uncle live there, and I've kind of like sort of grown up there a little tiny bit, and you know, I can very easily come back home to visit, and you know, I kind of want to take that step to moving somewhere else new. I want to kind of get started on that before I graduate college, because I'd rather not try to move to Baltimore after I graduate on my own and just like be completely lost, you know? I don't know, and also MICA is like a whole lot bigger school, and there's just so much like stuff to do, I guess. There's like a whole bunch of reasons why I want to transfer to MICA, but I'm not really going to get into those right now. Maybe at another point I'll talk about in another video. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it regarding most everything, kind of. You know, hopefully with, you know, spring starting up really soon, and the weather changing and everything, I should be, you know, happier and more active. I hopefully will give you guys more updates about Testopel and everything else that's been going on in my life ever. At some point soonish. I don't know, April's coming up soon. It's gonna get like really busy with like work and internship and art and school and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much it, and I'm gonna sign off now. Yo, dog diggity. Just stay cool, keep your head up, and all that cool stuff. Awesome.